Hi, this is Emma again from SSLtrust.com Australia, and in this video I'm going to be showing you how to install an SSL certificate on Lighttpd. So let's get started. The first thing that we're going to do is navigate to your SSH client and log in as root to your server. Once you've done that, we're going to generate a private key and a CSR. So basically, a CSR or a certificate sign request is nothing but a request initiated by you, the client, to the certificate authority, which contains all the necessary information such as the domain name and any business details which are stored in a hashed form. On the technical side, it also contains the public key which will be signed by the certificate authority and returned to you in the issued certificate. But what we're going to do just before that is create a default SSL directory to store all of our SSL certificate files. So sudo make directory, let's call it /etc/lighttpd, and let's call it SSL. So once you're done with that, the command to generate a private key and a CSR will be sudo open SSL request -new key. We're going to be using the RSA 2048 hashing algorithm -node -key out, and we're going to specify the output directory for the private key. Let's call it server.key. And now we can do the same for the CSR by typing -out the output directory for the CSR, the same directory. Let's call it server.csr. Press enter and fill in a few details real quick. 2-letter country code, the 2-letter abbreviation for your country, the name of your state, your city or town where you reside, the name of your organization, the organizational unit such as IT, and your domain name that you will install the SSL certificate on. Your email address, and just leave this empty. And the same for this, just press enter on both. And now to view your CSR, we're going to type in the command press enter, and now you can view your certificate sign request just like this. Okay, so I'm here on the SSL Trust homepage, and as you can see, SSL Trust has partnerships with all the various leading certificate authorities, and we do provide SSL certificates for all kinds of businesses and single domain names. So whether you want security for just a single domain name, or you want something more premium with a business SSL, you need more authenticity and validation, or you want to go for a premium extended validation SSL, or you want to secure unlimited subdomains with the wildcard SSL certificate, or you have multiple domain names and you want to secure them in one certificate. So these are one of the many options, and you can choose from various brands. So basically, if you need help in choosing an SSL certificate, you can always reach out to our sales and support team, and they'll be happy to assist you. Now what we're going to do is head over to a standard SSL certificate for this video. Choose your duration, click on Buy SSL, and click on Checkout. Fill in these details real quick, choose your preferred method of payment, and click on Complete Order. So once you're done with that, you can head over to the SSL Trust dashboard and click on the certificate you've just purchased, and click on Start Certificate Configuration. If you have a person doing this for you, you can send the following URL to that person. So now we copied our certificate sign request from here or from a text file and paste it right here. Click on Verify CSR, and if your details just look good, then we're good to go. Otherwise, you can Run the command again to issue a new CSR. Server type is going to be Nginx. Click on next step and fill in your first and last name real quick and your email address. And use the same contact if doing this yourself, or you can use a new contact here. Click on next step. Now comes the important part of the process, which is domain control validation. So basically, you need to prove to the certificate authority, which in this case is Sectigo, that you own your domain name and have complete access to it. So there are 3 methods of doing this. First one is the email method, which is the easiest one. You should have one of these 5 email addresses at yourdomainname.com, which when you click on submit configuration, you should be sent an email upon when you open it. There should be a link, which when you click on should validate your domain name and should get you your certificate issued. Otherwise, the next method is the HTTP file method. So you need to create a text file with this exact name, and you will need to create these directories. And then in the text file, you need to paste in these contents and wait for the records to propagate over the internet and for Sectigo to be able to see this text file and validate the ownership of your domain name. You can click on the check file button here. The third or the method that we're going to be using is the CNAME record validation method. So basically, you need to head over to your DNS settings with either your hosting or domain provider, and you will need to add a CNAME record there. I've opened my DNS settings, and what we're going to do now is copy the CNAME record entirely, Control-A, Control-C. Then what we're going to do is add a new record right here, type CNAME, and paste the CNAME record here, and the pointing to value, copy it as it is, the CNAME value, and paste it right here. Click on save, head back over to a certificate configuration and click on check DNS record. Click on search. Now this should take some time depending on your DNS service propagation speed or with your hosting provider. What kind of DNS do they have? So this might take from a few minutes up to an hour. So just keep coming back here, click on search. These records should propagate. But for now, we can head back and click on submit configuration and click here to access the validation manager. So you can come back here and choose your method of validation and click on submit or recheck just to refresh things on Sectigo's end. So otherwise, you can head back to the dashboard, click on your certificate, and you can click on the access validation manager button here in case you close these windows. So for now, we can search our DNS record. And as you can see, it has propagated in quite a few places. So we can click on the submit recheck button. So it has been a while and our DNS settings are propagated in quite a few places. And our certificate has been issued. So you can come back to the dashboard again. Click on your SSL certificate. Let's close this up. And then your certificate should be issued. But in case you're having any issues or you might think that you have left something, so you can click on the reissue reconfigure certificate button right here to do the whole process again with a new private key or an old private key and a new CSR. So we're going to click on the collect or download certificate button now. Okay, so I'm here on the main SSL certificate collection page, and the next step in this process is to install the SSL certificate on our Lighttpd server. So what I'm going to do is click on copy to clipboard on the first column, which is the main certificate, and open your preferred SSH client again. And let's navigate to the SSL default SSL directory that we created. And as you can see, there's a file here. Let's nano certificate.crt. And now we're going to right click and paste in our certificate right here. Control X. Save the buffer. enter. And we're going to do the same for the intermediate certificate. It's called intermediate.pem. Press enter. Come back here to the certificate collection window. Copy the clipboard on the intermediate certificate. Right click, Ctrl X, exit the buffer, save, enter. Now what we need to do is, according to the guidelines laid by the Lighttpd SSL documentation, we need to concatenate the two files, which is the private key and the main certificate, into one file. So we're going to type in the command cat server.key and certificate.crt. Just join these two files real quick, and let's call the new joined file as certificate.pem, which will be the main certificate that we'll use. Press enter and you're good to go. And now we need to go back to the Lighttpd directory. Okay, so the next step is to edit the Lighttpd configuration file to make sure that the server knows where our certificates are located, and it is able to display them to our users. So now what we're going to do is nano lighttpd.conf to get this file. So now what we're going to do is add a few things right here. Just come back down, and the first thing that we could do is initialize the server command right here. Add a new socket. And then double equals to, let's call it our IP address and the default SSL port. Open the configuration. And now we need to type in a few things right here. ssl.engine is equal to enable. Now I mention again that you can find the written guide in the very description of this video, so you can just paste the configuration and just edit it to your domain name and move on. I am just typing it in, enable, then enter. And now ssl.pem file, which is the main SSL concatenated file that we just created with the private key and the main certificate. And let's specify its location. And we can do the same for the intermediate certificate, ssl.ca file, double quotes again, the same directory, and it was called intermediate.pem. So enter. Now we need to add just the final changes. So now let's specify the server name. Server.name is equal to yourdomainname.com. And now we're going to specify the server, the document root of the server. So document dash root is equal to /var /www/html. Now this might change if you're hosting multiple websites on the server, so please refer to the Lighttpd documentation for more on this, but this is the default server document root. Now we can just close the configuration file, Ctrl X, exit the buffer, press enter. Now to verify if the configuration is correct, we're going to type in the command lighttpd -t -f and specify the directory where our configuration file is located. And as you can see, our syntax was okay. And we can now proceed to restart the Lighttpd server, and then we will have installed our SSL certificate. So now we're going to restart our web server with the command systemctl restart Lighttpd. For the changes to take effect, press enter, and you're good to go. Now head over to https://your-domain-name.com. So this is how easy it was to install an SSL certificate on a website. So I need to mention again that there is a written guide available in the very description of this video. You can refer to that guide for more context and images. If you were easily able to install your certificate, please give this video a like. If you have any questions, please put a comment below. And thanks for watching.